it's Kevin with the Rogue Deck Builder. Yes, it's been forever since I have posted an update video to this channel. We did say we were going to mess around with this Kona post Edge of Eternity release, and we never got around to it. We've been incredibly busy over here at Gonro Games, and I've actually been playing a lot of One Piece. So be expecting, I don't know how many people will actually be receptive to One Piece videos, but One Piece is kind of my new jam. And so be looking for some deck text for One Piece if you're interested in the game. I've been having a lot of fun with it. But I still do enjoy Magic the Gathering, and I actually have been playing in our Friday Night Magics here as well as on Arena with the Kona deck with this upgraded version. So where we left off, Kona was used to cheat in Atraxa. And post-rotation, we were theorizing how Kona would actually work with the new cards of the Edge of Eternity, specifically the spaceships, the spacecrafts. And the one that really caught my eye was the Seriema. And I haven't done an update video since then, and this has gone through a few iterations. And I know a lot of streamers have also picked up this deck and played it. There have been a lot of different versions that have been either using the Kona Combo, where Kona and self-mill plus cheating out things like Overlords can be, or Bahamut can be quite the payoff. And there are the one that I know that Saffron Olive did with MTG Goldfish was running Zombify as well as Smuggler Surprise. So it had this like 1, 2, 3 punch where you could cheat it in with Smuggler Surprise, you could cheat it in with Kona, or you could cheat it in with Zombify because you're going to be milling your deck anyway. So that version is really cool. I like it. And I know that the Una version was pretty lackluster because the Overlords are actually in a weird spot. Like, you'd think the White Overlord would be particularly powerful right now in Standard, but it's not. It doesn't really, like, the aggro decks are going to just push through it. The combo decks are just going to ignore it. And the control decks are just going to board wipe, and you just didn't get much value. So you need like something that actually can be good at least against one of those. And the key card is definitely Valgavoth. Valgavoth is the Atraxa replacement. And so it does actually justify the Seriema. So a lot of other decks aren't running this one. I haven't seen a lot of Kona builds actually run this card, but it is the key card in this deck because not only can it go get Kona, but it can also go get your payoff. And so the two payoffs with this deck are going to be Valgavoth, Terror Eater, and then a one of the Ureni. So Ureni is super strong against some of the go wide strategies, and it gives you an option. So typically when you have to like wipe the board, Valgavoth is not going to do the job. So you can actually go get Ureni, and Ureni can actually do that. There are a few other options too. You can go like I've thought about using like Sephiroth, -2 to each creature against those go wide strategies. But Ureni seems to do that. I mean, splitting up 5 damage oftentimes can do just as good a job as like -2, and they're left with dealing with a 10/10 flying protection from black, protection from white card that can actually just take over the game with 2 hits at that point. And so the payoffs too, that since the Seriema goes and gets your payoff, you don't have to rerunning a lot. Where this deck becomes weak is if you run too many of these cards that you can't hard cast. So you could go like a higher in Vaultborn Tyrant or like Bahamut that is a colorless card. Bahamut, the more and more, let's just actually search Bahamut here so you can know what I'm talking about. So I've messed around with this card a lot, summon Bahamut, but it just is very lackluster in this. Like even like running like a Meteor Giant just seems better, even the 8 mana, because 8 to 9 in this deck is actually quite substantial. Like getting to 8 mana is viable, but getting to 9 mana, even with the Lumbering Worldwagons, even with things like Llanowar Elves and the Hauntwoods, it's tough to get to 9 mana compared to 8 mana, where a lot of games you are stuck on that. So like you rarely get another trigger off of Bahamut. Usually it comes and destroys something, and then it just doesn't push through. I know it's a 9/9. I was just talking up Ureni being a 10/10. But this card is actually just very vulnerable to so much removal. You don't get a lot of payoff. Like if you are going to be running Bahamut, I think the version to go would definitely be the Una version, and where you get just tons of value off of running the Adagia, Windswept, Bastion, as well as Bahamut, and then can kind of grind out your opponent. But they're also like control and combo. Oftentimes there's like not a relevant target to actually hit with Bahamut, and it just does feel like a very, very awkward card at that point. I might go back up to a copy. The problem too, I wish this was legendary, because this would be an awesome one with the Seriema to actually tutor up. But compared to like the Vaultborn Tyrant and the Sire of 7 Deaths, like these two cards are just strictly better right now, in my opinion, with the meta, because they come out and do exactly what this deck wants, which is stabilize that turn before you actually start getting your value engine going. So this deck actually is more than just a combo deck. It definitely is a grindy value engine deck, because Lumbering Worldwagon is going to give you land every time. It's very miserable. This card is really rough for control decks to deal with, and even the Seriema as well. This is going to replace itself, plus give a 5/5 that control decks. Actually, control like Dimir, control and blue-white control are some of my best matchups here. because of just the Esper Origins, Seriema, and Lumbering Worldwagon kind of grinding combo. So that is why I'm not running Bahamut. There are a few other options of going up to like Vaultborn Tyrants or Sire 7 Deaths. Right now I just have a 1 of. Honestly, I'm thinking that Vaultborn is just strictly better than Sire of 7 Deaths. This card, when it's good, it's really good. The key is actually reach here, because it does stop a lot of problematic cards right now that have flying in the format, where they could just go over the top. We have 2 other flyers that can also be the key. Like a Valgavoth is something you can hard cast. This 7 actually is very easy in this deck to cast, and so having a First Strike, Vigilance, Menace, Trample, Reach, Lifelink is very tough for certain decks to actually overcome, because you're attacking in and leaving a blocker. However, Vaultborn just comes in with a 6/6. You gain 3 life, you draw a card, and I think it actually is the superior card. And so honestly, I do think it should be like going up into Vaultborn. And Smuggler Surprise, I think, is a 4 of. Like this card also, like I really started to like this card with the Hexproof and Indestructible against and it's more ways to actually deal with the blue-eye control, and the instant speed with this card is just insane. So I used to have in this slot be another mill card, a 2-mana mill card that would just mill something in and get some cards, but this is basically does that for 3 mana. It can only get creature cards, a little bit awkward, but being able to cheat this in for 6 mana to get 2 creatures, I think is pretty clutch. And the creatures you control with power 4 or greater gain Hexproof Indestructible is also really good, because when they go to kill your bigger cards or even your Overlords or Konas, you can give them Hexproof and Indestructible, and then you win at that point. So earlier iterations too ran this Phoenix down, which a lot of decks have cut, but I still like a 1 of. It's kind of a cutesy card, and what I really like showing this as a 1 of is then they bring in so many things like Ghost Vacuums and Rest in Peace that are basically just dead cards. Like they're going to try to shut down one card in the deck. I don't care. So that's why Phoenix Down is just a 1 of. There's not a lot of other synergies in this deck with Phoenix Down. Like you can go up to the Bezas in the sideboard. Like we do have some 4-drops. You want to have more things to actually hit with Phoenix Down just than relying on Kona. But again, the kind of glue to this deck is the Seriema. This card is just really, really strong with Kona, because A, it can go get the Kona. Like if you have the problem with these decks is you need to have both the combo in your hand. You need to have Kona and the payoff. Well, with the Seriema, you usually have one of them in your hand, and you can go get the other piece. So you can go grab the Kona. If you have the Valgavoth, you can go grab the Valgavoth if you have the Kona. And so all that's just based on our game plan. And what I like about this deck, as I stated before, is it is a combo deck. You just shut down certain decks by just doing a turn 3 or a turn 4 Valgavoth, and they can't recover from that. But against the other mid-range decks, this deck is incredibly grindy, with Overlords, with even Kona being a nice little body, with the Seriema, and eventually like Agata's Bastion can start making copies of the Seriema, or Dredger's Insight. I mean, those aren't the greatest targets. I can also do the Lumbering Worldwagons. However, it is still value. It's not nothing. And having a land be not nothing is exactly what you want in this particular deck. And again, there is some justification for saying, okay, at that point, Bahamut, it would be the target you would want to be copying, or something else. I know that people over on like the Knights. But again, that just seems like more of a win more card rather than a card that just actually does what you need it to do in a specific situation. So yeah, anyway, yeah, I don't know. This deck has been doing really well. I played just a little bit last time and got up to Diamond with just a little bit of effort, and I think we're at Gold right now with just a few games played. And again, there just doesn't seem to be some terrible matchups. Like, it's not bad against Vivi. It's really good like Dimir mid-range, and a lot of the decks that actually prey on the Vivi decks is where this deck is good. I mean, it's worse matchups like other combo decks, because we don't really interact, and they can do some like turn 3 shenanigans as well, but it's not terrible against like Gruul or Mono Red. There are certain draws that just absolutely, dumpster, especially our sideboard does really well against them. So I've been having a lot of fun with this deck. And this deck, again, is just going to get better and better as the standard gets deeper, with more cards that can be ramped out. I'm going to be looking at Spider-Man spoilers to see where this can actually go in. And again, I apologize if we can do a top 10 video of Edge of Eternities. There's actually quite a few cards from Edge that I think are quite fun. But with summer winding down, we should have more time to be focused on gaming. That's typically how it works in the autumn season, winter season. Is more time sitting behind a computer because there's less stuff to do outdoors, and less stuff going on around in my life. So yeah, we're gonna play a few games here, and definitely looking for your suggestions in the comment section, and see if we can actually get some like turn 3 wins here. I'm going to do one little quick change right here. I'm going to get rid of Smuggler Surprise and go up in a Vaultborn Tyrant. I think with having a few more payoffs is pretty good here. And I have been like having too many Smuggler Surprises in my hand. I think 3 of is probably the right number. and we'll go with that. Oh yeah, we'll go over the Sideboard real quick. Ghost Vacuum is in here. It's actually good against, like, we can actually exile our own stuff, and we're a ramp deck, so getting up to 6 mana is quite easily. This is just against other decks that utilize, like, Delirium or Graveyard Recursion. Cease and Desist, same thing. The Simulacrum deck is still around, so destroying all artifacts and enchantments for 6 mana is just, you just win against that matchup. That is one of our hardest matchups unless we get to post Sideboard. And then exiling Cease is actually pretty good too. It's just not like a dead card. You can exile 2 cards from graveyards and then, you know, gain 2 life and draw a card, so it comes in against the Delirium decks. The Pinnacle Starcage is a 4 of. This is the card that actually puts you from like an unfavored matchup versus the kind of aggro low to the ground decks to very favored, because it's just one of these you need out, and you basically have you know, you beat them, you stop them, and you're going to start to outpace them. Beza, this could go up to easily a 4 of in this deck. I like it more when it has more Phoenix Downs, but this is going to be your roadblock of all roadblocks. You can ramp it out on turn 3 sometimes, and actually will gain life, draw cards, and even create fish against aggro decks at that point. And it has some good interactions with the Starfall Invocation. I use this over Day of Judgment because oftentimes 4 to 5 is nothing, because we're ramping from 1, 3, 5 in this deck. And so you're going to be able to cast Starfall Invocation on time. And what I like about this card too is, like, after a Beza, you can get a Beza back and draw cards, gain life as well. Or if you have to even, like, kill a Vaultborn, if you somehow get to that level, you can actually gift the card, and you're going to get more value out of the card by reanimating a card that was destroyed by Starfall. You can even actually use it with Valgavoth, and it's fine. But typically, it just, like, gets Kona back. So on those turns, it's like, okay, I cheated something, and I still haven't found my combo piece, or whatever. And the Starfall Invocation, be able to return a creature card that's put in the graveyard that you destroyed that turn, I think is actually a little bit better than, like, Day of Judgment or some of the other options for a board wipe. And then same thing here. You can obviously see what deck I've been frustrated going up against is a Simulacrum deck. This is just having another kind of silver bullet card against the Simulacrum deck, being able to destroy artifacts and enchantments. And this is a pretty relevant card. I guess with Cease and Desist, you could definitely make the argument that I could just go up more in those, and then it has just more value than Season of Gathering. But yeah, we're still messing around with the sideboard here. Anyway, there is my long-winded thing. We'll play some best of 3s here and that's where I still suggest playing in this format, because there is a lot of cheese in best of 1, and oftentimes you need a sideboard that just absolutely dumpsters the all-in cheese type decks. So like I said, we have a really good game plan versus a lot of the cheese decks with our sideboard. Both green and white have access to some really good hate cards. We could even bring in Rest in Pieces if we wanted to. Like, that's something you put in our sideboard, because it doesn't really affect our graveyard. It like affects our Esper Origins, but other than that, it's not that big of a deal. So, alrighty, so we have our starting hand here, which is pretty meh. I'm pretty sure this is a mulligan, because you don't want to have 2 payoffs here. We could say, okay, we go Hushwood Verge, we go into Dredger's Insight, we could maybe find something at that point, but we're just really not doing anything with this hand. It's going to be like a turn, like best case scenario, Dredgers, maybe you have to dig for land, Overlord. It's just super, super slow. And I'm thinking we can pitch this back and just get something better. Typically, I like to keep 2 lands, but this is probably arguably worse, but we are going to keep it. We don't need the double Valgavoth. The double Seriema is actually better. And Hushwood is going to be very weird if we actually don't draw a land. So this is Dimir. This is typically a deck, or I actually don't know what this is. Okay, we did draw the land. But typically Dimir is a pretty decent matchup unless they just go crazy right off the bat. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see what this is. Like, the Pinnacle could be very strong against if this is going to be just like the blue-white Convoke deck. No, it looks like it is going to be some sort of Dimir or Esper deck. So unfortunately, we are insanely slow here, but we do have the combo if we draw lands. We have like a decision to be made here. We can go the Seriema, and for the ability to tap and find the well, we have the payoff here. So it's kind of weird. I mean, to be able to tap Kona and then go get like a backup Kona maybe with the Seriema, or we could just go Overlord and just have the mana ready. So I actually am thinking it's going to be the Seriema. This could be the wrong play in the Overlord, and we're stuck on 4, we lose the game. That just happens. I mean, we had a pretty bad opening hand. I think I'm just going to go get a backup Kona, and hopefully we draw into a land. If not, we have Overlord the next turn. But yeah, this is looking pretty bad for us. So Depending on the version, though, the stock up, like, I don't know what version of Esper this is, like what they're running, to see if Pinnacle is actually like just a solid card. If a lot of them do run like a ton of 1s and 2s with Enduring Curiosity, or... All right, so... yeah, this kind of sucks here. I think we're just going to Overlord, and it's probably going to get countered. It does not. Okay, so we're in decent shape here. Opponent could be like, what, flashing in an Enduring Curiosity? No, nothing. So our opponent just holds up mana. So the problem is, like if this is more of the control variant, like, we're not going to be able to resolve anything here. Going to go another stock up, though, but then we could still get Disdainful Stroke, which a lot of people are running main board right now. And there's still a lot of things our opponent could do. Like, best case scenario, our opponent just taps out. And then we can safely, you know, do what we need to do. The good news is Overlord is ticking down. Like, this is just a clear tail sign, though. Our opponent is, like, holding something up, like a Disdainful Stroke or a counter unless you play 3. We get another Kona. I'm just going to, you know, get it out and see what happens. Okay, so we'll crew. The Kona will die. Like, Lumbering would have been so much better here because we could have gotten some value. But, yep, nowhere to run happens, but at least we do. We do station. And so, actually, we don't station here. It still gave us a 1, though. That's kind of cool. Even though it didn't exist, it still read it as a 1. Nowhere to run. So, okay, this is just balance. This is the old school, yeah, Pixie deck. Okay, so, yeah, our Pinnacle is going to be very strong in this matchup. And I'm actually thinking we can stabilize. Like, nowhere to run, again, is gonna come down and kind of mess up our day. But we're still doing stuff. And this actually allows us to get a Llanowar Elf out, which is fine. We have an extra Kona. So nowhere to run's going to work again here. And maybe one of these will work. But at least our Seriema is up to a 2. which is good. We'll get up to a 3. And we do have Overlord that's coming out the next turn. And the Kona, I think Seriema is going to be close to online. Okay. So the Zenith and stock up number 3, huh? They're just going to drop. Okay, so we do get to... Our opponent does tap out, though. I think they're thinking that, you know, gone through 2 Konas. We're in good shape. However, can they beat a Valgavoth? That is the question. And I'm not sure they can. So, let's go ahead and pop out the Kona number 7 here. I know it's not number 7. And then we will... I think we just keep everything back. I could actually cast another Seriema if I wanted to, though. Yeah. And then... Yeah, I'll keep everything back. No attacks. And then we get Valgavoth. And then I think I will just cast this, or do we need a blocker? I'm going to cast it, just so we can actually just go get I think we'll get Ureni here, because this can actually do some work. So I'm hoping for like another legendary creature in the upcoming... I haven't looked at Spider-Man spoilers. I know it's spoiled. I need to look at it. I need to do a top 10 video. I need to get all that jazz out. But, yeah. So, Valgavoth is going to be rough to deal with. They could easily sack enough stuff. So, possibly Valgavoth isn't even that great. But we do have like another one. Jeez, double Cosmogrand. Okay, our board wipes are going to do really good too. So, Mana Breaker just kind of sucks here. Unless their opponent has some other, spot removal. And I don't know if they really do run a lot of spot removals here. And so, of course, we just kill the Llanowar. And can they just bounce it? Trajectory, -10, huh? Oh, they don't have to sack anything. That's right, because of nowhere to run. So, okay. There we go. I think we lost this one pretty handedly here. So our opponent does survive. So we can block here, trade, block here, trade. Okay, we're actually still not dead, which is fine. I could actually survive here and take 10 and still be okay. Yeah. That isn't the worst thing that's ever happened. No. We don't trade. We'd go to exactly lethal. So we have to trade. And then go to a 1. So yeah, that's not the worst thing that's ever happened. Okay, so we get another... Oh, that was actually a clutch little play there. I'm not sure we can actually survive even with Valgavoth is the problem. Because our opponent just gets back Storm Chaser's talent and then targets it again. Or to get exiled. Okay, it did get exiled. So Momentum Breaker's not going to work. So I think we might be okay. I doubt it though. I mean, we can block something. Depends on what our opponent is. They have an activation land here. We're definitely dead if there's an activation land. Because prowess is the problem. So depending on what their opponent draws, but they can get, what can they get back? Oh, they have a trajectory. Never mind. They have a trajectory in their graveyard. I looked at this one and the one that got exiled, but they do have a trajectory that comes back. So yeah, that is just game. All right. So we'll go on to the sideboard, and this card is going to be clutch with the Pinnacle Starcage. So we're going to bring all in. And I wonder if like the Starfall Invocation is going to be decent here too. Ghost Vacuum, of course not. Season's Assist, Season's Gathering. Beza, I don't think is where we want to be. So typically in these ones, like Esper Origins are like something that are just... Like Esper Origins is kind of your flex card that you sideboard out against most matchups to bring in the cards you actually do need. That's kind of the theory that I use for these ones. And it's like Smuggler Surprise, I think we have absolute time to find what we need naturally through like the Konas. The Smuggler Surprise probably isn't. I'm going to keep it in as a one of just for that off chance that we have Smuggler Surprise and like 2 cards in our hand to work with. But this is probably how I would, yeah. Like everything else is super relevant. And we do want to be wiping their board because they are still like a go wide deck. So typically I would say this is a pretty fair matchup for us because they are a little bit slower than like even Dimir with running Enduring Curiosities in the Planeswalker Kaido, as those can be incredibly aggressive. Again, this isn't the greatest hand over. It's kind of slow, but we have what we need with the Agadas into Lumbering Worldwagon into board wipe. So that's actually quite strong too. So Spyglass. And okay, we did draw our one of Smuggler Surprise. So we have Lumbering Worldwagon, and depending on what happens here, I mean, we have a lot of options after the fact of Nurturing Pixie. Okay, that's actually pretty... Okay, throw it away. Okay. We're going to take 2 here. We have Worldwagon. I don't like to see another tap land, but Worldwagon's fine. You can make the argument for Overlord here since we have another tap land already. But we can go get our double white, which is super strong now. I guess we'd have the double white Agadas, the second one. But, I mean, we definitely will be going Kona next turn. And depending if our opponent taps out, we actually have a couple of options here. Like, if they're going to hold this up, we can always just Dredger's Insight. Yeah, I could just do nothing. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with just going... Too bad this wasn't a tap land too, because I could just go Overlord. So I don't just want to run... You know what? We can run Kona out, because Kona doesn't even cheat anything in. So that's fine. Yeah. I'm okay with this play. We're just going to like try to take the Lumbering Worldwagon to the victory here. And make our opponent like play around it. Because this actually doesn't even get anything if our opponent kills it. Like, what we get like an... Yeah, okay. That's fine. It still gets crude. We still get in for a ton of damage. And we have the board wipe coming up. We have Smuggler Surprise if we do actually end up finding any card that we need to hard cast. And Momentum Breaker just makes me discard a card. Oh, makes me... I have to sacrifice an artifact, huh? Creature or vehicle. Okay, that actually kind of hurt with the Momentum Breaker. Makes us get rid of a creature. Okay, we're going to have the Bastion number 15. So, obviously here, we're just going to go Overlord. And, again, this is why I kind of like this deck. Unless they have a Disdainful Stroke here. It just starts to be grindy with the amount of value. And our opponent did not go wide with the Starfall Invocation. So they're going to go Momentum Breaker back, which kind of sucks, but at least we did get some value. And I could see like just Starfalling here if our opponent plays out another like low to the ground, because we do need to find, like, the good thing too, Smuggler Surprise is never dead with, ooh, okay. So if he gets a 1/1 here, oh no, I'm Starfalling next turn. Absolutely. I'm like, I don't know why that was even a decision. So we're Starfalling. We go down to an 8, but our opponents can be down to pretty low. Ooh, now that's interesting, but I think we just have time. We're just going to do this. We don't need to gift a card to destroy all creatures. That's fine. So now we can Dredger's Insight as well. And I think Vaultborn's just fine. Now we just Vaultborn here. It's yeah, because now we Smuggler Surprise into Valgavoth and Vaultborn. So I'm trying to figure out, like, stock up is good, but I don't think it's gonna do a lot here. I'm trying to decide if I just like hardcast Vaultborn. Okay, my opponent taps out. We're just going to Smuggler Surprise here. And I think, let's see, so we have 8 mana, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, we can just Smuggler Surprise for mill 4 cards. So we're going to mill 4 cards and put 2 creatures. Yeah, perfect. And we're going to get back, yeah, let's get back the 2 creatures. Oh, that's the only thing you can get back. And we could go Ureni just to kill, but yeah, it's point. Okay, our opponents just scoop it up. They didn't even see the Valgavoth. They know the Vaultborn. So, pretty decent there. So, Beza now is actually looking better. Better and better, because it's just something that can stabilize. And is it just better? Like, Smuggler Surprise actually did really good there. Overlord, I'm trying to think of the cards that really aren't relevant. Is Sire actually relevant? I actually don't think Sire's relevant in this one, so we'll cut a Sire. Valgavoth's actually kind of weak too. But I need to cut 1 card. Like Seriema, I don't know if it's too slow or if it is a Valgavoth. But I mean, this just gets worse and worse the more I cut with Smuggler Surprise. So I could just go down to 1 of Beza and call it good, but I'm not quite certain what the cut is. You can even do a Dredger's Insight, but Dredger's Insight actually does seem pretty solid here too. So yeah, I don't want to be cutting Valgavoth, so I'm just going to do Overlord, even though that does seem weird too to be cutting those. All right, whatever. We'll do this here. Not quite sure what the cut is in this particular matchup, but our board wipe came in clutch there, as opponent should be siding like Disdainful Strokes and things. I'm not sure if they're running them. Unfortunately, I hate to lose this way, but mulligan to a 6 is rough. Our opponent does mulligan too, so I guess we are... Geez, this deck does not like to give us Llanowar Elves, does it? So Kona is definitely a redundant card here, so this is fine. We will keep the 2-lander and just pray. We do have Dredger's Insight to try that 3rd, but it is the Seriema, not like a Lumbering Worldwagon, which is a little weaker. Geez, Momentum Breaker is actually super strong versus our deck. All right, we'll keep 6 in a... this isn't a vehicle. I keep thinking these are vehicles, and all those vehicle-dependent cards actually don't work against spacecrafts. So, loves to give us our Smuggler Surprise. We will go with a Hushwood Verge into a Dredger's Insight into a Seriema and hopefully find a land within that time. So Duress actually does not hurt us too much. They should get the Seriema. Yeah, Dredger's Insight actually could have been rough there. So Dredger's Insight should be able to find us a redundant card, though. So yeah, I think... Unfortunately, I think we have to take a land. We have a Llanowar Elf. We need a tap. I'm going to take the wagon. This could be the wrong move. We do need... If we draw into a land, though, we're in great shape. If we draw into Llanowar Elf... I mean, we still have a Llanowar Elf. Is fine. Stock up here. Sure. Annoying card that should be banned, but whatever. We'll, this card that... Stock up is actually annoying me the most in the combo deck, the Teamer combo deck, where... They reduce the cost by each creature. All right, so this stinks. We have a Llanowar Elf, unfortunately. So they kill a Llanowar Elf, we're still in a bad shape. But they stock up in the deck where it reduces the cost, and then they can just go infinite with the stock ups. It's just such a stupid deck. Anyway, Talking about stupid decks when I'm playing a Kona Combo deck. Pretty rich, Kevin. All right, so nowhere to run. That kind of sucks, but I know it's a Llanowar. It's not going to be on a Kona, which is good. And nurture. Oh, okay, maybe not. It's going to go for the Nurturing Pixie. So unfortunately, not hitting a land. I mean, this should have hit. I should have taken a land there. That was kind of my bad. Stock up number 42. Okay. No more stock ups. Yeah, my issue too with stock up is it just digs too many cards. The top 5 is just insane in Magic. So it's enabling, like, in these type of decks, it definitely feels a lot more fair. But in, like, the combo-based decks too, digging through 5 and keeping other cards is just crazy. So we do have, like, this Silver Bolt with the Pinnacle Starcage that can start getting us some value. Okay, now they're probably going to get rid of it, though. Ugh. This doesn't help against us creatures you control. Yeah, okay. So they're probably going to take the Pinnacle Starcage, unfortunately. I could see him taking the Worldwagon. But, yeah, okay, if I draw a white source here, okay, I don't draw a white source. We don't draw any lands because we milled the ones we needed. If I would draw a white source there, I would just slam it. And so, yeah, this is probably going to get out of control. So we still have a decent, if we draw a white land next turn, we still have a decent play here. We'll still be fighting off a 3/3, but we get rid of this entire board. And then our opponent has just a nowhere to run that's not going to do too much. And I'll still be in good shape. Unfortunately, I mean, it is what it is. We just lost there with not hitting lands. But I do think we hit that white land here. We wipe the board of all the Storm Chasers. And then the following turn, we have the Worldwagon. I mean, at that point, you could probably say possibly don't stabilize against the 3/5. But we would have been in great shape there. But it is what it is. Again, took the wrong, kind of the greedy play of taking the Worldwagon to try to hit off a combo and we get punished for it. So down 0-1, but I'll play that matchup all day long. I think it's actually very, very favored against it because, you know, they're playing kind of fair Magic. They definitely can't interact. That nowhere to run actually makes things kind of decent versus Valgavoth. Being able to target it without having to sacrifice things. But their deck actually doesn't care too much about sacrificing. They usually have a lot of, like, excess cards. But, yeah, I think it's a definitely favorable matchup. All right, so this is a good hand here if we can find, like, a Kona in the bin. So we're going to want a Dredger's Insight and find a Kona in the bin and then hopefully Phoenix down. But either way, we get a Llanowar Elf out first turn. And one of my favorite plays with this particular deck is just going Llanowar Elf into Lumbering Worldwagon. And we have like a really good setup here. So if Llanowar Elf dies, it dies. We'll cast Dredger's Insight. And looks like we're going to be going against mono red. We'll go second Llanowar Elf here. And might as well station it. And then next turn, I still think it's Worldwagon if our opponent. So is this going to be Vivi we're going against? Or just going to be, it could be some sort of tempo deck. Okay, so it's going to bounce it. So Dredger's Insight, finding a land. Is that what I want to do? Unfortunately. Or I could just go Phoenix down. No, I think it's just Dredger's Insight, finding a... Oh, this is just... Yeah, because we have Seriema. This is fine. We're going to do Dredger's Insight, probably just finding a land. Perfect. Okay, so found the land. We get to play the land. We get to play the Llanowar Elf. We have Phoenix down next turn for Kona. But Kona actually doesn't give us any value. So, not quite sure if that's the play. I think it might just be the Seriema. Yeah, it's going to be the Seriema for sure. Well, Worldwagon's actually kind of fun here. No, it's going to be the Seriema. If it gets countered, it gets countered. It does not. We will go get Valgavoth. And which one would we rather crew? I honestly think we would rather station here. And start taking up the Seriema. So next turn we have Valgavoth. Again, if our opponent just wants to like hold back stuff, it is what it is. They're going to have to eventually tap out. Gives a station. So at this point I can just start like slamming things down. Again, I don't think I want to really be running out Kona here. I think I just, yeah, if our opponent's not going to do anything, let's do this. And we'll slowly tick up the Seriema. Okay, Firebrand. Gonna kill my Llanowar Elf, maybe? I mean, at that point, it's just... That's fine. It's a card for a card that just didn't really do anything. And, like, Esper Origin... I mean, actually, it did do something, because now I can't cast Esper Origin. But Smuggler Surprise we need one more mana for. Yeah. Alright, we're just gonna go for the Phoenix down now, I think is fine. This is a good enough time to do it. And if they have a removal spell for it, they have a removal spell. We'll have Esper Origins anyway. Okay. Okay, we can actually give it indestructible. Yeah. And our opponent scoops it up. Okay, so actually Smuggler Surprise came in clutch there. I just don't know what I'm going up against. It's like some sort of value engine. Is it deck? Like, I don't know if Pinnacle Starcage is... We didn't see enough. So I think it's just Beza comes in and Overlords come out. I mean, Overlord is like... These are the two flex cards. Overlord and Esper Origins. Like, Overlord can help you get to the mana you need, but typically this is a low mana deck anyway. You're not hard casting most of these. You're trying to cheat them in. Eventually you can get there with like the Vaultborns and the Sires. So it's either like maybe we'll just do a 1/1 cut of a Smuggler Surprise and Overlord. But I do think that they like Beza is probably good. And anytime you see red, you might as well bring in Beza, especially if it's like red-blue, because then you can get the card advantage as well. So don't think this is like up against like a tier deck. I didn't see lands either, like a lot of dual lands. Maybe this is just like a new player. I think this hand is fine, just like, again, against red decks when you have Llanowar Elves, double Esper Origins, and Beza. Like anything that's dealing damage here, this is like, what, 8 life, up to potentially even more life. So Higher Claw, okay, so this is going to be some sort of red-based damage deck. So we have Esper Origins next turn and a tapped Adagia Windswept Bastion. So Pinnacle Firebrand, unfortunately, is going to take care of the elf. So this is going to... Oh, it's not. Okay. So we'll have Esper Origin out next turn, unless the elf gets taken care of. If not, we'll have Esper Origin out anyway. Okay. So we have an Esper Origin. And I think I actually just want a Plains next turn. And the Seriema I actually don't think is going to be relevant right now. I'm going to actually just get rid of it. So, oh, we didn't need the Plains because I have to play a tap land anyway next turn. I was thinking like we wouldn't have a tap land, but we will. So definitely my Pinnacles are coming in if we go to a game 3. But let's just do this and this. And we're still in great shape here. I mean, we've gained some life off of it. Do you want another Seriema? Like at this point, like we're casting. Yeah, I just don't. I don't think we need it. Beza's not going to give us any cards. Opponent is stuck on 2 lands. Again, this deck just does seem like a new player that just has like a pile of cards that are playable. Which, in this day and age of Standard, it's, you know, it's doable. So Bez is going to come out here though, without like a Screaming Nemesis. Okay, yeah. So if we were like the Pinnacle would actually wreck this deck. If alrighty. So yeah, it's Beza. You can make an argument for Esper Origin because you can go into Sire of 7 Death there. And I'm not even going to... I could go Agadas, but... Or Adagia. Adagia Windswept Bastion. But we are stabilized here. And now we can easily... Like, there's no point to not playing a tap land. We'll just go another Esper. And we'll have a Sire of 7 Death. And definitely get rid of both of these. We don't have to draw these now. And this will most likely, there's a few things it can miss. in this deck. And here, like, you could make an argument, okay, let's start... I don't think so, though. Yeah, it's no... We're in no danger here. An argument of starting to kind of pump up this Adagia, because it can actually make these 4/4s. Oh, wow, okay. So, oh, this is the haste one, okay. Our opponent can just cast it once. So we're going to be taking 4 here. But we got a massive little Sire of 7 deaths coming out. Next turn. And hopefully we can stop drawing into lands. And here now I can actually, if I want to, I can start... yeah. So we can definitely just Beza. I think this is fine here. We have enough blockers. Not going to do the summon. Maybe it's the other way around. I should have done because Beza could have. Because we do want that trigger next turn. Okay, I'm taking double damage. I'll actually die here with Red Source. No, he's just doing 1 damage. So this does 2 damage. Oh, it does 4 damage. Yeah, I could have died if he would have attacked in with everything there, I think. So, but I'm going to gain some life here, so... We'll come in here with a... Jeez, so many lands. Well, let's come in here with the Sire. Maybe I should have Esper Origins first so I could cheat something in. I could still die here just to this Ogier. I'm up to 15. I'm gaining some more life as well. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have cast Esper Origins either. Overlord, I think we just need to... I don't even know what I'm digging for. We'll cast the Dredgers, not the other. Mana value 3 or less. Never mind. I said instead of that, I was thinking 3 or more there. Ugh. I could still die here. That was a bad cast, actually. Do we just do Valgavoth and then try to find some way to cheat it in? Yeah, I think I can still die. I still die here, actually, if my opponent actually plays this correctly. Like, so many ways I die here. Because Ogier just, like, wins the game without... Oh, that's just to a creature. Never mind. I was thinking that this did the face. But I take 2 immediately. So my opponent's going to allow me to try to come out of this. Jeez, I don't want to... I can't use this mana now. This doesn't do anything. Yikes. Okay, so nothing has trample. I just have to try to survive, and I'm not sure if I can. Yeah, this is rough. Seriema, I could kill. Seriema could go get, and that could kill, but then I take 4. I have to attack first. So this is what stinks. So what I was thinking here is I could Seriema and go get Kona, but then in response you can just Fanatical Firebrand. And so this is just like super rough to attacking with the Sire. Is this indestructible? What is my opponent doing? It's just like, yeah, I do not deserve to win this game for sure. So, yeah, we definitely want that Ogier dead. Unless opponent has another Ogier, but it's fine. Like, that just put us back up to 13. I'm perfectly okay with that. How they transform it over, they have to have red source. Plus, it's oh yeah, first strike, so it didn't even die. I didn't even know the first strike. So, we're all messing up. Like, my opponent's messing up big time. I'm messing up big time. I think we just go... I can, like, start Dredger's Insiding here. I can start copying... No. I don't know. There's a lot of, like, things I could be doing here. I think we just go Seriema. Go get a Beza number 2 just to gain some life. No, that doesn't work. Now let's go get Kona. Let's cast a Kona. And I'm just going to end the turn. But, man, Ojera is super strong if you don't play any sort of removal. I think my opponent had me dead like 7 different ways. If they summon Ojera, I could still lose this to that Ojera. Yeah, I'm just dead. I'm still just dead if my opponent would just actually use the Fanatical Firebrand. Yeah, so I still died, even with all the misplays of my opponent, because Ojera is just that strong. So I think I do need to bring in Pinnacles. I don't know, I could bring in Starfall Invocations here as well. And just like, okay, we're going up into red deck. So like Smuggler Surprise out. Yeah, that kind of feels bad. That loss, I'm not going to lie, that loss kind of feels bad there. Yeah, the Overlords are weak here. It's like anything that's just kind of slow and clunky is just not an option here. Like Esper Origin is most likely the cut because it doesn't do what we want to be doing in this matchup. But yeah, not having removal for Ojera though will kill you with just a few pings. Alrighty, so let's see what we got here. I mean, we got the Pinnacle. I think this is keepable. We have this should. Wonder if this. Okay, no, we're gonna keep this on top because we do want another land drop. We do need another white though, so maybe that wasn't the keep. Well, we can find a white source here. So Dredger's Insight. We do need to find a white source because this is a creature-based deck. So yep, I could actually go Worldwagon because that does find our white source and ramps us. So that's actually better than the... Yeah, correct. I think this is fine. Gives us something to do next turn. This also gives us a Starfall Invocation. We do... And no one drop our opponents. Our opponent's pretty slow. Just a Viper. So, yeah, this is a pretty easy play with Lumbering. And regardless, next turn we can just, like, Pinnacle. If we actually draw into some, something bigger. I could make the argument for this. I'm hoping my opponent just actually puts out, like, 2 1-drops this turn, and then in my can make decisions. Like, ideally draw a land and then Pinnacle. And then we can do Pinnacle, Dredger's Insight, or maybe even Dredger's Insight first because we're probably gonna get value out of it later on. The Seriema also goes and gets Kona, which is actually quite strong because it's just into a Valgavoth the following turn. We're in no danger for Ojera yet. So, and then that's a Valgavoth, which just wins the game. So again, ideally I'd like to see like 2 1-drops. Or a 1-drop and a 2-drop here. Nothing. So at this point, I think it just is the Seriema. Do we go Dredger's Insight? No, it's just the Seriema. We take some damage here. Just 1 damage, though. It's fine. And we go get Kona. I could go get Beza, too. Like, Beza's actually an option. But I think Kona's just better. Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't draw that land, which is rough. Because Ojera here would be pretty rough, too. Okay. So... yeah, it's just Kona. And if Kona dies, Kona dies. But we'll go the Worldwagon. That guarantees out the white source. Okay. Oh, I had another white source. We're good. Okay. So our opponent's down to 15, though, so the Worldwagon is no joke. We have a Dredger's Insight the following turn if we wanted to, but again, I think it's just, this is probably going to be just a control Opponent's going to put out like the drag, a Screaming Nemesis, yeah. It's going to be a Starfall Invocation. And we do need to find some action after this. We don't need to gift a card. See if they want to use a removal spell on the Screaming Nemesis or a damage spell so I can't gain life, which is definitely an option. Yep. Thought that was going to be the case, so our opponent can still grind us out with haste cards, which kind of sucks. I mean, Llanowar Elves and just start ticking up, I guess. You could say I could leave back for a haster, but hopefully no big creatures. I was worried about like a haste creature, because again, this is just like I'm going to die to haste creatures, I think, now. Because the Screaming Nemesis just is rough. So I'm going to end up losing this matchup too. Womp womp. Okay, well, if our opponent does like go wide here, this is giving us a little more play because the Starfall... Oh, that Exiles, he played it for that. Okay, I think I just lose here. Yeah, never mind, I just lose. Like, Dredger's Insight's like my only hope to find like a Kona. The Vaultborn Tyrant 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't do it. Seriema doesn't do it either. I think we just lost because we just died of the haste. Yep, that's that's what I get for insulting my opponent's deck of just a pile of stuff they have lying around. So, oh, the Screaming Nemesis. Good old Screaming Nemesis. All right, we'll play another one here. Kind of awkward games there, as I'm going to now start recording video. I was talking this up too about how it was so flashy getting a lot of turn 2s or turn 3s and turn 4s. But yeah, because we didn't cast Vaultborn there. What could we even got? Yeah, there was like really nothing at that point. You need like a Beza just to crew the Seriema. Could I have a Seriema? No, Seriema was the card after that. There was nothing there. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I could have done. Possibly you should have made the you know, I don't cast Kona into untapped mana. That could have been the play for sure. And just, you know, thrown out a removal spell. Okay, so we're going to go up against the landfall deck. Sideboard is really good. We don't have the greatest draw here with... Oh, actually we do. No, because we can't get this out. Okay, yeah, we're missing another white source. So we have Esper Origin. Okay, and this might not be the landfall deck with a... It is a counter-based deck. Typically this is like, yeah. Unfortunately, we drew another white source. So we'll Esper Origin. And Kona can't crew anything. We'll keep it though. Kind of keep both of them because we have Overlord that's coming out. Yeah, I think we just keep both of them. Because we'll just Overlord next turn. This creates a bunch of 2/2s. So it's going to be kind of like a go wide of landfall. So the board wipes do really well against this deck. Okay. Can't complain too much about a turn 3 Overlord, which also gives us the white source. I mean, at this point, we're going to be hard casting. We draw into a land, we hard casting to Vaultborn. If nothing else, we have like an Esper Origin next turn too, which will gain us life, and then like, crewing the Kona is a bit of an issue. Yeah, giving indestructible to a creature, I'm not too worried about that this turn. So this is just a... Oh boy, Shelter by Ghost. Okay, so good news is I think that our board wipes in the Postmate is really going to do well against this match. Are they going to actually remove and get a 2/2? I think they should because it has synergy with... Yeah. And draws a card. Eek. So, Kona's bad here. It's just Esper Origin. and then try to go into a Vaultborn the following turn. Do I need to put out a blocker this? I need to keep these as blockers. Agadas allows us actually next turn to go a Kona play. So that's fine. I think I'll put the Overlord. And do I... Like, they have another removal spell. I'm just cooked. I mean, I want to just go Esper Origins. This might end up being the wrong play. We'll see. So we don't need either one of these. Puts us up to 16. We have a blocker. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of blocking this turn. They have to cast 2 spells this turn as well to make the... Which is doable with the Llanowar Elf. Okay, tap land. It makes it a little bit less likely there's going to be 2 spells in a turn. And Vaultborn just doesn't guarantee us a win here either. I mean, it will be a good... Okay, Patchwork probably will end up being a two-card spell here. I imagine, though, we do get a block. Okay, just going to give a counter over, huh? Oh, just wanted another Zach. Okay. So, we don't need to block. Definitely is weird, though, if we don't block. We could block 5, 9. No, I don't block here. Which, not sure I can survive the following. So the thing is, we have a lot of mana here. So Kona is actually a cheaper use of mana than Vaultborn, because it can just be immediately... Yeah, we're still going to be able to get it. So this is fine. So because we can do this and Esper Origins, so I think it's actually better. And then Station. You can actually do this as well. Might as well, just in case like a Valgavoth comes out. All right, throw both of these out. Puts us up to 9. Okay. No attacks. Puts in a Vaultborn again. I'm not in the craziest position here. We're back up to at least up to 8. I think I need all the blockers here, so I'm not going to go Esper Origin. And we'll end it. And this does give a lot of blocks with the Esper Origins dying is actually pretty good with the Vaultborns. And we do have 5 blockers. So, I'm in decent shape. Like another Shelter the Ghost would be absolutely brutal for us to deal with. But in all honesty, we're not in the worst shape ever. We have Seriema that can go get a Valgavoth, which, again, their creatures are getting massive. This is a good little combo here with the Amalgam. But we do have quite a bit of roadblocks here. And yeah, so the Agata seems super strong too, though. Oh, okay, that is a card we definitely did not want to see. So hopefully there's not another spell to go on the Ouroboride, because then we definitely face down lethal. This card just wins. If so, okay, there's a counter there. Okay. And they can remove a counter, but they don't get a counter this turn. The problem is, though, I think I just lose. Like, the problem with not having removal in the main before, like, we can't recover from a lot of... Get a lot of mana here, though. This is pretty insane with the amount of mana. Like, I can go get Valgavoth. I actually don't think Valgavoth is a play. I think I need to kill this Ouroborid. So I think that is actually the right play. So we'll do the Seriema. and go get Ureni, because Ureni can actually take care of the Aura board. We have to do all 5 on top of it, right? Nothing else gives an additional thing, right? We're actually okay there. So this Esper Origin, I think, is just better. Gives us some more life. Because the Vaultborn Tyrant's fine. Lumbering Worldwagon we don't need. And we can crew. I think we'd rather crew here. And then we will go to combat. No attacks. Okay, opponent's going to scoop it up. I don't think they're dead. That's it. Like it's rough. Like, the longer this game goes on, I actually think the opponent might have the edge. They got the draw engine going. They're going to be able to go wide, super wide. But possibly that was. I think the Starcages come in and the Starfall Invocations come in. I'm not sure Beza even needs to come in this one. Because, again, they're just going way over the top. They're not really trying to go this like super aggro where I need to gain life early on. Smuggler's Surprise seems really good. There's no disruption. Phoenix Down might seem a little bit worse. We can still go for... Yeah, I think it's just the Overlords. And honesty, Sire of 7 Deaths might not do anything in this one too. It's like the Smuggler's Surprise though gets a lot worse in this. So the hexproof, I think, is it? Yeah, I don't know. I think it is this. I think we get rid of this combo here, and we just play more of a control route. And I guess you could have made the argument for Esper Origins and kept Smugglers in. Yeah, it probably was a play. So this hand is pretty good just because it just has the pinnacles. Like, I'm okay just keeping a pinnacle. So we have Esper Origins, which isn't the best thing ever, but it is a play to try to like scry for a land. And yeah, so right now we're getting value for sure. Okay, so then we have the Adagia Windswept Bastion. I think I called it like 7 different things already, and there's another drop already that we get to kill with the pinnacle. So I think the pinnacle is just going to do a lot of work here. We'll do Esper Origins, no point. We know what we're doing on turn 3, so we'll keep a backup pinnacle as well. So, I mean, hopefully my opponent doesn't put out a 3-drop here. I hope they just put out like a couple 2-drops. Regardless, it's pinnacle. Like, I think we just have to pinnacle next turn. And then the turn after is like Esper Origins. All right, perfect. So, ideally, I would like to see, of course, another... Nope, okay. We get some value here. 3 for 1, we're at 14. I think our opponent just scoops after this. I don't see a way they're coming back. We have the backup pinnacle as well. They could have ways to destroy these, though. Who knows? Oh, it doesn't get the Innkeeper's Talent. I'm thinking of the one that rotated. So it doesn't get the Innkeeper's Talent. Never mind, though. Now we're in bad shape. So, oh boy. The 6/8 we're dealing with. So do I have to go... No, I have to try to find a board wipe. So that's the only option. This gives a blocker. Valgavoth we have. So we are just desperation mode to grab into a board wipe. And unfortunately, we actually hit an Esper Origin off of Esper Origin. So yeah, not grabbing those Innkeeper Talent. I'm thinking of the card that rotated out of Dominaria. So this only hits artifacts and it doesn't hit the Innkeeper Talent. So don't think we quite have to block. We'll go down to a 3, and that will give us some mana to deal with. And then it is just basically we got to hit the board wipe, but we actually don't. We draw a card and then, yeah, I'm not sure how we get out of this, so maybe I do have to block. Oh yeah, I do anyway. 16, okay. No trample on this though. So we block, and we don't hit a board wipe, and then the next turn we just die to double aggro. So yeah, we didn't hit the land either, because if we did hit the land, that would give us a blocker with... Yeah, the Esper Origin's not going to do it. We block there. It puts 6 counters on the Llanowar Elf. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that... Oh, no, we can hit a land here. We can actually hit a land here. So we have to, like, hopefully hit a untapped land. And still, that only gives us 1 more turn to do something here. And this has to be an untapped land, which is not. And so we block and die. All right. Okay. let's rethink this. Beza actually does seem decent for drawing cards up. Okay. I think we'll do that. And still, though, the name of the game is to try to find, you know, a board wipe. And wonder if my opponent is bringing in the destroy artifacts to deal with their entire low board getting dealt with a Pinnacle. And unfortunately, can't keep an O-lander. I mean, we'll keep this. This is fine. I think, do we need the double Pinnacle or do we need the double Seriema? I think it's the double Pinnacle is better. This is still kind of a bad hand. It's just too much of the same stuff. This does get a turn 3 or turn 2 Seriema, which at this point I don't even know what I grab though. So maybe actually the double Seriema would have been better. A patchwork, huh? Okay, maybe that's actually better. Oh, we needed the white mana, so actually that actually was a clutch. I think we could actually cast the Pinnacle. So yeah, Forester is fine. So I'd love to see is like again my opponent going wide and just getting blown out by the. Okay, perfect. They kept a 1-lander. Come on. Come on. I think I have time. I think my opponent can still. So we're just gonna go with the Seriema here. And, jeez. Should I just grab Beza? I know that kind of feels weird. And then I'm not going to even do anything. I'll actually even block. Will I? Yeah, well, this could actually deter off an attack. Because I could block here. And I'm actually okay with blocking. Yeah, I'll just block and save some damage. And we're going to get the fishies. We're going to... I could actually crew the Seriema here. No, this is better. Yeah, my opponent kept a greedy hand, and they deserve to get punished for this. So, make the argument that I should have just wiped the board there, because Llanowar Elves actually is like a viable... And I think we'll crew just one. Because now the patchwork can't. In 2 lands here, taking a life. Shutterbug Ghost doesn't do anything. In fact, it just gives me back a Beza or a Lumbering. So can't attack in either. Okay, we'll just do that. I mean, that's fine. I'm not sure what that attack was about, but that was just a very, 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 very greedy keep by my opponent. So, and the thing is, too, if they would have drawn that land, they would have probably been crushed anyway by the Pinnacle. Like, we did get lucky by drawing that white source because I wasn't noticing my Hushwoods don't tap for white. But I mean, we had to keep the hand anyway. And any basic land at that point gets us out of it. All right, let's play one more. And still liking this deck a lot. I'm thinking it just... What... I typically am not the biggest fan of like just pure combo decks. They have to have like another angle with them. And that's why I'm really enjoying this one, because it has other ways of just winning the game without relying on such a all-in combo. So this is definitely a mulligan. We have the combo in hand. I mean, this is a great hand here. The double Valgavoth this is basically the best 6 you can ask for. You have everything you want. We have the turn 2 Lumbering Worldwagon into the turn 3 Kona, into a turn 3 Valgavoth, basically. So this elf dies or gets bounced. It's kind of rough. I don't know if my opponent knew that was like the best thing to do in that situation, but it does. I mean, it takes us back a turn. I could actually just see like going Kona here, just like ramping out Kona. Actually, I hope they kill my elf. Just kill my elf, because we don't need it. And Valgavoth is still going to... Okay, alright, so Zag is a Soul Cauldron. Typically, though, against Vivi, we do have a decent matchup. So, I honestly could say this is just no, this is still better. This is still better to go lumbering. And we'll just get in there for one. Guess I could have gotten like a Phoenix Down. Yeah, Phoenix Down would have been better. Because we could then get our guy back into play. But I'm assuming my opponent's going to tap out here for like a Vivi. Or a Scholar. Okay, Scholar like discarding a Vivi. Which could go nuts here already. But Valgavoth just absolutely shuts down this deck because they go to discard stuff and they get eaten by Valgavoth. So unless Vivi's in the graveyard now, we should be in good shape. Problem is it gives my opponent some mana. They could go nuts here. Let's just hope they missed a Vivi just one time. Just didn't draw it out of. We have Ghost Vacuums that come in the next. Actually, and this is a matchup too. I bring in the Pinnacles. No, because it doesn't hit Aga's Cauldron. That's actually kind of rough. I don't think we bring in like Cease and Desist either. Cease and Desist actually is a decent option because it can hit things in the graveyard in response. But we don't even think about Sideboard quite yet. Let's just actually focus on this game as our opponent throws away a Wild Ride. And that is that. So, we are in great shape. We'll just go Kona. Get the Worldwagon. Swing in for 5. And pretty sure Valgavoth just ruins the day here. As now, anything discarded is donezo. So our opponent has to find a way to actually, like, they have to sacrifice the Cauldron here. Yeah, their whole plan here is just try to get out 3 permanents so they can actually do something as Valgavoth. They've already burnt into the Floodmaw. Yeah, I mean, they have so much looting. There's no hard cast a Vivi. That is fine. And a Marauding Mako. But still doesn't. We have a Dredger's Insight, too, that we can actually find some more gas here. And Cauldron does not work against Dredger's Insight. Okay, so the Seriema is super strong here, actually, because we can cast it. You can make the argument for another Worldwagon here and just attack in. But this is going to go get Ureni. And we're going to crew. And we're definitely going to attack in with both because they have to block. With Valgavoth and Lumbering. And this goes and gets another land, puts us up to 6, so that is enough lethal if they did not block. I guess it was lethal anyway if they didn't block. But no good options here. Valgavoth is going to give us some Steamcore Scholar, or at least a Marauder. They could just block with the Marauder if they want to go that route. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be the Steamcore Scholar. But either way, we get everything. It doesn't ever go under the Soul Cauldron. I mean, blocking Vivi too is an option. Also, timing out is an option. And Ureni's just going to wipe the remainder of the board. So they should block with both. Okay, so we go here and here. And both Vivi and the Scholar die. So I'm not sure what my opponent is still waiting on. This is definitely a scoop, because there's absolutely nothing left in their deck that they can do to get out of this. In fact, I can kind of go nuts with oh, they can actually keep the Scholar alive. Okay. Yeah, I could have kept one of them alive with the way it goes there with the Agathas, because I did have something in my graveyard. So, though, I can go Vivi, sure. And Marauding Mako, sure. And at this point, do you want to, like, keep my Seriema alive? Nah, this is fine. We'll just end the turn. Because I honestly don't know what in the world they could do to beat this 27 life. Yep. Okay, so sideboard. Sideboard is rough. There isn't a lot of good options, like Cease, Desist, and Ghost Vacuum are really the only options. The Esper Origin is really, really lackluster in this matchup because they're going to combo. Getting up to Desist to destroy all artifacts is too slow for the... So Ghost Vacuum, we're just really relying on Ghost Vacuum. Like the Cease is the big question of just of bringing in if we want to actually have some sort of interaction with instead of Esper Origin. And Beza is the other option. Starfall Invocation could definitely be considered. Yeah, that's actually probably a necessary evil. So I just honestly don't think we have room for Cease, Desist. It's weird to hold up mana for Agathas. And I think it's like the cut in like 1 Smugglers. Again, I'm not sure if Smugglers is a 2 of or a 4 of is the right. In a lot of the testing I was doing a couple sessions back, the Hexproof Indestructible was actually super relevant with the kind of heroic intervention for creatures of power 4 or greater. But pretty cool if we can actually end on a beating the best deck in the format. But typically, against this matchup, we do have a pretty favorable... I mean, they can still do their shenanigans. That's the problem with Vivi, is they still have that, like, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, like the Mako into the Agathas, into the, discarding a Vivi into... Then, yeah, your Mako already has 2 counters on it. You put another one on it. It's a 4/4. You add 4 mana. You just start to... cast all your stuff in your graveyard and just go off. Like, I understand that's a play that often happens, but we seem to go pretty tit for tat, and they always have to worry about us getting that Valgavoth combo, which absolutely shuts down our opponent's ability to do anything. Like, they have very few answers for Valgavoth in this deck, because everything gets exiled when they try to do their kind of their chaining off with their looting. So, this one is fine because we have the Seriema. So we can go Portico. I think Portico is fine. Either one's fine. I think I'll start off with the ability to find something to tap. In fact, if we find like a Kona here, like Dredger's Insight into Kona is fine. That gives us like a better option than going into the Seriema. The Seriema is going to be weird anyway because of the tap lands. So maybe a tap land is better here because we need to go Seriema. Yeah, okay, tap land is better. I want to guarantee we get what we need. I definitely want a Starfall Invocation. I'm not going to pass up on that. That's going to be our kind of panic button if they do actually take care of this next play. So no first turn or second turn. I wonder if my opponent brought in like a bunch of control. So, like, I could bait out a Lumbering Worldwagon if they don't do anything, even like a Dredger's Insight. I could go even like a Adagia. That way we have the mana for the Invocation. If not, I think if it's a tap out, it's just definitely the Seriema. And then go for it because we got Valgavoth. So, and I have a hard time to see if my opponent wouldn't be doing something. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to discard 2 things here. Probably a Vivi. No, okay, into the Floodmaw. And that's actually one of their key cards against me. So yeah, okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to go for it. Because if our opponent taps out, then it's game. And if they don't tap out, we still have a play next turn with going the Bastion into Lumbering Worldwagon. And that way we have like a Starfall Invocation after that can work. So not a lot of choices by my opponent. I mean, they didn't really find anything in the graveyard that was relevant. And again, that burning that into the Floodmaw is super weird. Because that was their key card to kind of stopping. Okay, they still could have another into the Floodmaw. But I mean, that just bounces it. It's not a big deal. Okay, they're definitely keeping up something. So, options. Options are probably just we go for it. It's going to be an into the Floodmaw. Most likely. Torch the tower, huh? Had to kill their they had to kill their okay. I'm okay with that. It's not the worst thing that could have happened. We have a Seriema on 4, so it just needs another activation. We got a FOMO happening here, though. But, I mean... Okay, there's a Winter Night Story. They have the second Cauldron. They had to get rid of the Cauldron, though. And they're just going to Quantum Riddler to draw a card. And then attack in for 2. So, untap land would be great here. Because it would be worthwhile just to kill the... Okay, Ghost Vacuum's not terrible either. That gives us a play this turn. So, I think we're just going to go tap... Worldwagon, and we can Ghost Vacuum. And they have Delirium already because we can just get rid of the artifact or the sorcery. And I'm thinking let's just do it now. I think we're going to get rid of the sorcery before they have the opportunity to get any value out of it. And I don't have to worry about some, like, crazy lethal. In fact, I just want them to cast a Quantum Riddler and pass the turn. So... Vivi. Okay, Vivi is rough if it's going to be... Okay. No, I think we're fine, because I doubt we die here. Because it's only 2 mana... that can be cast here. And it's going to be another FOMO. Yeah, okay. So, we get a board wipe to happen. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's just board wipe. I'm just board wiping. And that's that. So maybe I should have got rid of the Winter Night Stories there with the Ghost Vacuum. I still can lose this game just because, 4-6 with this deck does just draw a ton of cards too. But I mean, this is a lot of juice that's been. I mean, the FOMOs are almost out. 2 cards in hand, 1 card in the graveyard that's relevant. They just need to activate the Soulstone and attack for 3 and think that's going to be enough. I think that's the play my opponent is definitely considering. So like just go for the Soulstone Sanctuary, try to attack in. See, I would love to play like a Manland in this deck, but it just doesn't seem like there's room. Like our mana base is so terrible. Maybe after the rotation or next sets when we get Shocklands. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's my opponent's play. Just another Quantum Riddler. And we'll just exile the And opponent's not actually getting in for any damage here either, so that's not going to do anything. Gets to put the counters. Okay, that was what the play. My opponent's going to try to go this route of trying to get the Sanctuary big, and Kona is going to ruin that play. And do we even need to go? I will go for the Seriema here, just to give another blocker. And I guess Dredger's Insight's fine here too. And I don't know. We'll go get another Seriema, I think. That's fine. It's not a big deal what we get here. I think that we've pretty much... We actually can go Lumbering Worldwagon too. How greedy do I want to get? All right, let's see some greed plays here. I'm not sure if this is the right play because we're just maybe just like keeping back a blocker in case Valgavoth somehow gets bounced. But you got to think this wins the game. I want to be cute there just so that I can go Seriema to give my Kona indestructible. But I mean, there could be a world where this gets bounced and somehow gets some cards. I don't see it happening. Because there's just not enough non-lands to sacrifice to get through this hexproof. But I am liking going out on a kind of a win there. So it does show you like how the sideboard does really come in handy with this deck. There's lots of value that can be had by a lot of our utility cards. Again, this deck is going to get so much better with more legendaries. I know there's a ton of legendaries printed out of Spider-Man that are quite viable. And the thing that the Phoenix also gets pretty interesting too, because there are some 4-drops that are quite relevant too out of Spider-Man. All right, so the Steam Core Scholar is going to discard some cards. So it needs to find a Into the Flood Maw and try to get the counters on the Soulstone Sanctuary is the play. But I don't know. I mean, that's only going to get 3 cards on it. And yeah, can't do the Winter Night Stories. It doesn't work that way with ours. I mean, it would have been cool if you can Winter Night Stories. But everything's getting exiled with Valgavoth. So now I'm not sure how they're going to generate enough mana to have enough to get onto the Sanctuary. They have to cast one more card and Into the Flood Maw. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So Vivi at least is going to be able to put some counters, 2 counters to now get some more value. Which could end up bouncing by sack with it Into the Flood Maw. But, I mean, staring down lethal with Worldwagon, either way. So, that doesn't work. So, yeah, I'm not... Maybe cast a 1-drop like a Mako. They could cast a Mako into the Flood Maw, have a blocker, but then they lose their board again. And I just get back a... I get back everything anyway. Now, next turn I have a hexproof. So, what shall we do here? The Seriema to kill the blockers is what we do. Now, that doesn't happen until post main. So, yeah, there's no... We do need a crew. Kona. And we will cast the Seriema. And get Ureni. And then we're going to go to combat. And we'll swing in. Because this makes blocking miserable as well. Because there's a 9-4 and a 9-9 that have to be dealt with. So they have to block, block, block. Otherwise it's lethal. So like, yeah, their game plan is like, okay, we're going to go for the Soul Stone. But it's not going to work. Plus, like, we get a Vivi. Like, we can go crazy here. We cast all this stuff. Like, there's so many things that just go nuts. After now that Valgavoth has. Yeah, it's just completely controlled out. And if we wanted to, like, our opponent wants to play this out, sure, we'll play it out. We'll play it out. We'll... discard a creature card. Boom. And we could play all this out if I wanted to. Okay. I think we've shown off enough of what can be done now. Didn't even activate the Vivi. So we have hexproof here, and anyway, I think our opponent's just going to time out because they're obviously salty, because that's what tier deck players do when they lose, is they never concede. So yeah, I'm not sure what our opponent could do. There's really nothing. They could actually bounce. I mean, indestructible too. We got hexproof with the Smuggler Surprise. We have Beyond Lethal happening next turn, and it's pretty much a wrap. There we go. So pretty decent little showing with this deck. It does kind of struggle into those aggro decks that can push through like Screaming Nemesis damage. It's definitely is one of the holes of this deck that, you know, could put some other sideboard based cards in. I'm sure to fill up that matchup. However, like I said, this deck has game versus everything right now in the meta, and the number one and number two deck, Dimir and Vivi, actually seem to be like favorable for it. So again, we didn't see like an incredibly explosive Vivi draw from our opponent there, but it can go toe to toe even if they do have it. Anyway, we'll be looking to the Spider-Man promos or previews, not promos, to see if there's anything that will go with this deck. Like, this is kind of the I don't have the time I used to just to play like so many different decks with so many different cards. So currently with Magic, I like to focus on like one pet card and try to tune it as much as possible. But again, I'm always open for what people are looking to watch. If it is more just like a spam of decks, and maybe typically I mean to edit these down, maybe showcase a few of the highlights of a particular deck, and maybe do these like more meaty decks. But hopefully, again, as the summer winds down, we can find more time to actually get back into Magic the Gathering. And again, let me know if you like are interested in like One Piece, because that is something that we are having a lot of fun here at Gone Rogue Games playing One Piece, and it's actually like a brewer's paradise as well with that game. And so I'm enjoying it. I don't know how well it'll be receptive on this channel. This channel is pretty much dead anyway. So anyway, we can do just what we want on this channel and have fun with it. But if you are interested in like keeping up to date with me personally, if you've missed my videos, we still are quite active on Gone Rogue Games, as well as posts on other various places. We're still alive and kicking it here and actually doing quite well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Kevin with Gone Rogue Games, or Rogue Deck Builder, or whatever channel I'm on. Thanks for watching.